my big sister Stacey, and this is Sister Social Call.
We are two sisters talking about everything that sisters talk about. Welcome to our lives. Hey, sissy.
Hey, sis. How are you tonight?
I would like to say I'm coming in kind of hot tonight because I had my condo AGM just right before this. So I had a quick bite to eat and then we hopped right online. So kind of hot tonight.
You're a bit hotter than I am. I was here at about 6:33, I think I got on. I know sometimes you're sitting in here waiting for me, and so I just got on and I had the Jays game going in the background, just keeping tabs on the score. So I'm into it. I didn't realize it was going to be so crazy, but I'm into it.
You are not alone. I think almost every Canadian is really into the Blue Jays right now.
It's so good for everybody's soul right now. I think this is just something we really needed as a country, like something just awesome and fun and to cheer for. And yeah,
Helps the collective soul.
helps the collective soul is right. Like good on the Jays. Like what a team to make it there, and they're doing well. So yeah, I'm into it. Big into it for sure.
Awesome. Well, we want to welcome all of our listeners back to Sister Social Call and say a very special hello to our new listeners. Heck yeah, yesterday, Chrissy and I had the third most downloaded day.
Third most downloads in a day were yesterday.
Yeah. It only came in third to Chrissy's breakup episode and to our first episode. So thank you to all those people that decided that they wanted to listen to us yesterday. So, hey, awesome.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for continuing to show up and to listen to the episodes and share the episodes and continually coming and joining us, and all your engagement on social media and all that stuff. Thank you guys. It is awesome. We appreciate it all.
It's the real fun part of doing the podcast. The podcast is very fun, but the engagement is really a treat, a special treat. Anyways, on this week's episode of Sister Social Call, Chrissy and I are going to talk about moments that changed our lives. You know, the ones that in life that split everything into before and after, the ones that change the way you see the world, yourself, or what really matters. And sometimes these moments arrive quite quietly, and other times they crash into our lives and leave nothing the same. I can think of a handful of moments in my life that meet this definition. And I think Chrissy has probably a few too. So one of the ones that I think would meet the definition of before and after would be when mom and dad got divorced. So Chrissy and I were 9 and 10 years old at the time. I was in grade 4. And I think there's been quite a lot of lasting impacts from our parents' divorce on both of us. For me, one of them was my relationship with my husband. I know that I wanted stability from a very young age. And so when Sean and I met, he was exactly that. He was a stable force in my life and actually continues to be. I remember watching Dr. Phil one day. He gave somebody advice: your parents' past does not dictate your future. And that really stayed with me, that sentiment, because I was very fearful that I would end up divorced, because that's just because my parents got divorced. So surely I would. But we're into it now for almost over 20 years, Sean and I. So we're pretty rock solid. We're pretty good.
You're pretty solid for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Another lasting impact from our parents' divorce was the money and scarcity mindset. I think that has left a long impact in my life. But I would say that this year I put it on my manifesting challenge that I really want to have a breakthrough year on the abundance thinking, and found some tools to make that better. And I feel like this year I might have come through the fog on that one. So that's good. And yeah, I think those are two. Obviously, having parents divorced was hard to navigate our entire lives. It's easier now. Grandkids really helped with that. But from the time my parents got divorced until at least, I think it was Jay's grad. So our brother's grad in like 1996 or something like that, that our parents actually didn't sit in a room together. So there was so many years that it was just so hostile. But it was like Jay's grad that we had a time together, and then I think it was probably my grad, my grad and convocation, that our parents then kind of started to be in the same room, could tolerate each other. But yeah, it wasn't until we had grandkids that we have all of our family functions are all together now. So it took time, but we got there.
I think that maybe even happened a little bit before. I think there was just because we all had different partners, and then our parents were divorced, and then it was like, so Christmas was like mom's place, dad's place, the in-laws place, the da-da, and I just seem to remember one of us, probably me, being like, okay, you guys, this is ridiculous. We are spread so thin trying to get to everybody for all these special occasions. Like, could you guys just freaking get it together for us? And yeah, and that's what happened, and it's been awesome ever since. So our parents really have rallied in the last 15 years,
Uh-huh.
which is awesome.
Yeah. Did it leave other impacts in your life, sis, that you can think of?
I'm coming at this whole topic a little differently than you, I think.
Mm.
The whole entire topic of our Sister Social Call episode tonight. But when I got to thinking about this topic, like moments that changed our life forever, or moments that changed our life forever, right away, my thoughts went to all these negative things that have happened in my life. And I don't want that negativity to be what defines my life. And so when this question popped up, I really thought about it. And because I don't dwell on these things, I really truly don't. There's one thing, I will bring it up when timing is appropriate in this episode. There's one moment I know for a fact it changed my entire being as a person. However, there's a lot of blips that happen throughout life, and there's a lot of really great lessons that I've learned, but there's been a lot of great things that have happened in my life because of them. And so I really wanted to focus on that stuff as opposed to, because I'm going to tell you guys, my list of shit that has changed my life is endless. But when I thought about it all and I think about who I am, those have been gifts to me. In fact, they have truly been gifts because I am the way that I am because of all of the things that have happened. And I really like who I am. There's things that happen in life. We're human beings. There's things that happen in life, and they always do. We're not just going to roll through life unscathed. We're not going to roll through life on a smooth road. And so everybody goes through stuff. And I just really thought about it. I was like, you know what? I don't want to dwell on the negative parts of those things anymore. And I actually don't. In fact, I rarely think about these things. Our parents' divorce, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, it happened, but like, look at how amazing our parents are doing now. Like, they can hang out with each other and hang out with us, and mom and dad talk to each other. You know what? It's not all bad, Like, it could have been real freaking bad had they stayed together. There's an alternative. It could have been worse. We could have been really fucked up. But anyway, so I come at this a little bit differently because I really didn't want to sit and dwell. I just didn't want to dwell on like the hard times in life because we all have them. So with our parents' divorce, I mean, to me, it is what it is. It's old. It's an old part of my life. It's not something I carry with me anymore. It is what it is. The strength we had to have as children, that's something that I celebrate. The relationship me, you, and Jay fostered throughout our childhood and adulthood because of that. I don't think we really give ourselves enough credit for how we got through life together. We did it. We did it. And we're so close, and we are such good people, and we're so good to each other that I think that's a pretty incredible thing. And maybe had we not experienced that, we wouldn't have the relationship we have with each other. So I think that is pretty awesome. Like, trust me, I hear a lot of people talk about the relationship with their siblings and whatnot. And people comment on to me about our podcast. They're just like, wow, like, you and your sister are so raw and so real with each other. And it is awesome. Like, people love it. I think we're so lucky that we have the relationship with each other that we do. And I think that's probably a lot to do with us growing up.
I think these hard times are actually the moments in our lives that, like, obviously they are foundational to who we are as people, but it's that growth that happens through those things. So, like, one of my
Totally.
items that on my list that I wrote, like, my 34th year of my life was, like, I like to call it my Anna's horror list, but there were so many things that I did that year that I called them my tools in my toolbox. I did like 20 weeks of meditation courses, like one right after the other. And I still have a meditation practice because of I know of how
Yes.
good that
That's
is for me.
that's the kind of shit I'm talking about, sissy. Like, there's things that happen, but this is like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the stuff those different practices and things like that, that's really what's changing your life.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Like, in that year, one of Sean's best friends, he died tragically in a farm accident. And so from that, there was lots of learnings because he was young. He was only 36 at the time with two young kids, and Nick lived life to the fullest. Like, he had a very full life by the time he passed away, and it taught me about that, like, every day is a gift. That was one of the things it taught me, is like, okay, you just don't know. And it also taught me that there's a lot of people that are grieving quietly and silently and by themselves. And that's where I learned about giving people grace in that with Nick's passing, because I started to see how we were all just saying, "Oh yeah, how you doing? Okay." And you just move along. And it's like wild to me to think about that now. And that's why I'm just like, choose the philosophy of go with grace with people when they're having like an off day, go with grace, because we have no idea what people are going through. So that was like a big learning from that one for
Right.
sure.
Like, and I think that's basically when I got thinking about this. That is really truly what I started to focus on. Like, I was like, nah, I don't want, there's so much negativity that comes to
Mhm.
that. But
Mhm.
then I was thinking about it, it was the the growth that happens within you, and then the things that you change in your life, like the positive changes, the new habits,
Mhm.
seeking therapy, doing somatic breath work, all these things, that's truly what's changing your life actually. So yeah, you're hit, like, that's totally what I was feeling about it. Like, hitting those like aha moments in you that are like, "Oh my goodness, this is teaching me this valuable life lesson. This is," and that's the gift.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel that very deeply, for sure. As I've said, I've had moments that I was born on this path, and it has jig-jagged left, right, center, diagonally, up, down, back down, around and around, and all over the map. I
Mhm.
have had some experiences, I will say, all of which make me who I am today, and I'm proud of the person that I am. I would not be the person I am without the things that have happened. However, there is one time in my life that changed everything for me. It changed my life. It changed me fundamentally as a human being. In my early 20s, I had met my boyfriend at the time in Canmore, who, it was like I fell madly in love with this guy, fast and furious. We loved the shit out of each other. We traveled together. We worked on the pipeline together. He was a welder. It was like, boom, we were like best friends. We just did life together. And then his parents both got sick with cancer. I think they were diagnosed with cancer 6 months apart. His mom, stage 4 bone cancer. His dad went for a physical for the place that he worked at, and full of cancer, top to bottom. I was just in my early 20s, and we were all young, and then none of us really knew what to do. I essentially kind of became the caregiver for the mom and dad. We were living with the parents at the time, if you can freaking imagine. So, anyways, imagine me like 20 years old and being in this role, not really knowing what to do. John's dad died first. He kind of lost his mind and went into the hospital, and I was going and checking on him. When I think back on it, it's like, wow, I am amazed I made it through this whole thing. But anyway, so the dad died first, John left me, then the mom died. Within 6 months, everything I thought my life was going to be and the family that I had, like we lived with them, we ended up getting our own place about a month before the dad died because I just couldn't handle it all the time anymore. I was like, I can't live in this house with all this sickness and be taking care of them. I can't be here all the time. So we got a place to move into. But when the when his mom's funeral happened, it just it just hit me at the funeral. I was hysterical because it was like the finality of it all, that part of my life was over, but I had no tools in my toolbox at 22 years old to deal with everything I had to deal with in that time. And I it changed everything. Like it was death real fast. The loss of a family, because I really thought like I felt like that was going to be my family forever. It was so much loss in such a short period of time that like I didn't even know what to do with myself. I just kind of like roamed around, and that's when I got into doing drugs and stuff. But honestly, that thing that happened changed everything about me. It changed how I seen life. It changed like I always tell people I live in this sense of urgency because I know how fast life can go. And I think it is honestly because of this experience. His parents were in their 50s. That's young. I'm not far from that myself. Anyways, it was a whole experience, and it started then that was like the catalyst for a lot of big things that happened in my life. I got into doing drugs and not taking care of myself because I just needed to escape. Like I was just so hurting. My heart was so terribly broken. But like the one thing that was really crazy about this whole thing. So my dad used to drive a tour bus for PA Northern. And so he was driving in Saskatchewan, then he picked up this driving gig that was like he'd pick people up in Banff, tour them around the mountains, and then drive them out to Vancouver to get on the Princess Cruise Line, and then he'd come back through. And of course, like in all the craziness of what was happening in my life, my father came into my life at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I don't even know how long this was for, Stace. Like I can't remember the amount of time that this happened for.
I think it was like a couple of tour seasons, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So like he checked in on me and he would stay at my house. That was the darkest time of my whole entire life where I didn't even know some days like how I could possibly live and move on. It was so hard, but my dad showed up every week and he just loved me. I don't even know if he knew what kind of mess I was in until I finally told him that I was in trouble, but like he just showed up and he was just there. There's zero judgment. He didn't tell me how I should be living my life. He was just there. We'd go eat breakfast together or he would stay at my house, and it was like he would just show up. But anyway, so like there was so much shit in that, but I fucking got myself out of that. Like I I had the courage to tell my dad when I knew I was in trouble with drugs. I wanted better for my life. I knew that there was more for me. I'm proud of myself for not giving up. I'm proud of myself for admitting I was in a bad place. And so all of that crap that had happened, I really am starting to shift my thoughts on that whole period, but only probably in the last like year or two where it's like, no, actually I was strong and I was brave and I was resilient, and like there's so much of that really like helped me to be the person that I am today. So, but that changed me forever. Like that one thing, it was like that changed my entire like chemistry in my body, I think, because to experience such great loss all at once, like it doesn't matter when it happens in your life, but I was fucking young and I didn't have a single tool in my toolbox yet. I really got to give props to my dad for that because he did not leave my side, and I think last year we were having a conversation about it. And I just said like, yeah, dad. I was like, so crazy that you were just show up there. You knew you needed to be there, but you didn't know how like, but you just were there and you didn't really know how bad things were. And he just said, "Well, I just wanted you to know that you weren't alone in all this."
It was divine. That's the best way I can describe
Divine,
it because
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that was a gift from the heavens, him coming, because I don't know if I could have made it through all that if he wasn't there all the time. It was like it was my check-in, like, dad had to see me.
and it wasn't like he was specifically went out looking for a job that would take him through Canmore twice a week. Like it
No.
just like it truly was, I think, divine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I think that's just pretty much my big main one, honestly. If people were to ask me that question in life, that's the one thing that it's taught me so much about myself, taught me so much about life. It taught me so much about death. It taught me so much about people. Like, there's just so many lessons I learned from all that and so much growth that has happened since then as a person. And the growth was quite delayed because I got myself into drugs really bad. And we're going to have an episode on that later on, but I've done everything I could to mask that for a lot of years. So it's only in the last 5 that I've really been digging deep into that and really starting to understand that.
Can you think of it of a good moment that changed things? Like I can think of moving out to Invermere. It was a bold move to leave my job, my career in Saskatchewan and Regina, and Sean and I
Yes.
moved to the mountains and we didn't have jobs. And we just moved because we wanted the lifestyle and we wanted to grow old with our friend group out here. So can you think of something that was big like that in your life too?
Well, absolutely moving home from Canmore. Like, that was a big deal. But honestly, the biggest thing that's been the hugest positive in my life was opening my hair salon. Going to hair school and opening my hair salon. It was a dream of mine. When I was 16 years old, I wanted to go to hair school. Like, I it's something I've always wanted to do. And I remember, like, one of my parents or somebody close to me saying, "That's what dumb people do."
Gosh.
And so I didn't ever pursue that. And so anyways, I went to hair school and I said, "I'm gonna open up a hair salon at Regina Beach." I remember my brother, like, laughing at me. We were having supper at Mom and Michael's place, and I remember Jay, I think, was laughing at me about it. So good thing he laughed at me, because when that happens, it usually is fuel to my fire. But anyways, so I opened the hair salon and I have never had a bad day at work. I have had interesting moments at work, like a couple weeks ago, but I have never ever woke up and thought to myself, "I don't want to go to work." What a gift that is. Amazing.
That is awesome.
You can either be one of two ways. You can take the positive and learn from it and grow from it and make your life fucking unreal awesome. Or you can play the victim and get toiled up in that bullshit and hate every minute of your life. I see that happen. That's not for us. Well, it's not for me. That's not our jam.
No, certainly not.
That's not our jam.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you get bogged down in the things, but
We're human. Yeah, for sure. And that's okay. And the best thing I think I've learned too is when that happens, reach out. I mean,
yeah.
that's what you're here for. That's what our family's here for. I just want to say one thing about that, because if you're ever feeling, you yourself, as somebody's listening, and you feel that you're in the weeds and it's a dark place, definitely, I just want to say reach out for help, because there's somebody there for you and you don't need to suffer that one alone. And if you ever feel like you need somebody to talk to, you can always reach out to Stacey and I, because we are here for you. So I just want to put that in there.
Thank you,
Sometimes you
Cissy.
can feel very alone. Like, sometimes you can. And sometimes maybe just hearing our conversation sometimes, Sissy, I think that's like the most realist conversation some people actually hears. I think it's important we put that out there for people to hear, that they can honestly reach out to us. We're here for you.
Totally. And we can listen. I'm a researcher, so I would always be happy to help you look for supports close to yourself. Like that's one of my favorite things, is to help people find the things that can support them.
She's good at it. She's good at it.
I think we should move on to our peaks, pits, and plans. How about you, sis?
Sorry, but I'm not a dweller of the COVID, but that I'm just going to put this in here. When Stacey said, like, things that happen in life that are before or after a certain point, we just talked about this in the salon with a client or a couple clients. we refer to things as pre-COVID, post-COVID. Everybody got affected by that. So in our lifetime, we have the pre and the post-COVID.
It has had lasting impacts on people. It continues to do, even in my own family, like in my in-laws.
Globally, it affected everybody, and some people could handle it better, some people could handle it worse, some people took it as a time to use that time for personal growth, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think as a whole, globally, everybody was truly affected by that one thing. Okay, sorry sister, sorry, that was in my notes, and I looked down and was like, don't miss that, because that was a big thing for everybody that everybody can kind of relate to. Okay, my apologies.
That's okay. Shall we move on to our peaks, pits, and plans?
Okay, yes, let's try that one more time.
Well, in my pits, I really don't have any. I ended the week on strike, but by the end of the weekend, there was a tentative agreement. So I went back to work this week. So that is a peak. So
Hey, for Sissy going back to work, she didn't want to strike to begin with.
It's true, but I'm back to work, and I am blessed with a great boss, which I know is not a common thing, but I have great bosses, and I really like my team, and I miss them a lot, even though they don't live physically close to me, and that I don't get to hang out with them ever. I only get to see them like maybe once or twice a year. I have formed really great relationships with my colleagues, and I really do enjoy spending my hours on a computer with them, and so I felt very isolated the last 3 weeks, but here we are, back to work and back at her. So happy about that. This is a very funny peak, but like it's not for most people. People just shake their head. But Sean and I adulted so hard on Monday. We like finally got our joint banking up and running. So I'd been talking about this for a little while, but we did that, and like I organized our savings accounts. I know this is not like super peak living, but I felt really like chuffed.
Fine. I've realized in the last few weeks of doing the podcast that your peak living to you is like financial stuff is very peak to you. It comes up lots in the peaks, pits, and plats.
Yeah, I mean, and especially just recently because going on strike is freaking hard. Like it's a financial hardship for a lot of people. And for me to weather that storm, I think quite well. I mean, I don't have kids, and I have my husband, he doesn't make a lot of money, but it wasn't 2 paychecks that were impacted, right? But it's something that I feel like I'm finally navigating well. Like I have the fundamentals that have been embedded by Zena into my life for decades, it feels like, are finally really showing themselves right now at this time. Like they're really showing me that I have put in the hard work and it's okay. And so that's why it feels more peak living right now than before.
I'm glad for that.
I'm not out there ladder climbing to make more and more money, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But to have financial stability is important to me. And we did like also on top of that, like we really adulted, we talked about our wishes for 2026, what our major purchases might be for the upcoming year. And so it's really great when you and your husband are on the same page.
Totally.
It's feeding into my big energy, this planning.
You guys got good flow going on there right now, you and Shanae.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was
awesome.
It was really awesome. Yeah. So we didn't have like a crazy weekend. In fact, it's been a very, very quiet few weeks since Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was the peakest of peak living.
Can I quickly ask how Sean's feeling, by the way? I keep forgetting about this. Is he doing okay?
So yeah, Chrissy's referring to him being in the hospital when he was here for Thanksgiving. We had to go run over to the hospital because he was not
His
well.
stomach. You mentioned that in Peaks, Pits, and Plats,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I did, but it was just like for people that tune into this episode and haven't heard
That's right.
a few ago. So yeah, so Sean was in the hospital for a short blip on Thanksgiving weekend, and they want to send him for an ultrasound on his gallbladder, but we have not received that referral yet. On Monday, when we were peak adulting, we actually stopped in at the doctor's office to find out where that referral is at, and unless he's heard something today. He hadn't heard anything as of yesterday. So we have a plan, and I think he wants to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was very sick.
Because you don't want that to happen. Like, that's not good.
It was so sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very.
On to plans. it's Halloween this weekend coming up, and it's not my favorite holiday. And so I have zero plans for the weekend. I am going to my friend Amanda's house and on Halloween night to watch the Blue Jays game and try to not hand out any candy at my house. So that's what's happening.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it here in Saskatchewan at Regina Beach. I'll be handing out enough candy for you and me.
Yes. Why don't you tell us about your peaks, pits, and plans then?
You have no other plans?
No other plans. I literally have no plans this weekend. Oh, my big plans are to actually wash my dishwasher on the inside, like clean it really good, and my oven. That is my plans this weekend, is to clean.
Those are good. Those are also adulting plans, sister.
I know.
Okay,
Peak adulting.
It's funny that you have to clean the inside of your dishwasher, but honestly, now that you say that, it's like, how does this thing clean my dishes when it's filthy on the inside?
That's right.
It's not filthy so much on the inside, but like on the side edges of it. Like the other day I opened it, I was like, oh my God. Like I don't think I've ever once. And then of course my oven, well, my cleaning lady that I used to do it. I haven't had a cleaning lady in a few years, so she's rough.
Well, those are the two things I'm going to do this weekend.
Okay, well, I guess I'll get on to my pits, peaks, and plans. I don't have any pits this week, so that's great. My peaks, so I had some great peaks. As I mentioned last week, I was going to be going to see a buddy's band play. He lives in Vancouver, so he was rolling in. So we went to see Molten Lava. They're like, Tristan is an incredible drummer. Liam, like, oh my gosh, the two of them together, they're great musicians. It's a joy to watch them play because they're just both so incredibly talented. I knew this was going to be a blast of the past going to this thing. All these old friends were there, so it was so soul-filling. It was awesome. And, like, I'm not really into that hard kind of rock music. However, it was, like, good to just hear some loud freaking music. It was just, I don't know, it was good. So anyways, that was so awesome and just lovely to see people you haven't seen in a long time. And it's just like no time had passed. I love people like that. Okay, so, and of course I went with Kelly. We went to Viet Thai first, then we went there, but she was so funny. She had her little adult kit to go out with, and in her kit it had Tums, mozzarella accents in case her back got sore from standing, Band-Aids in case she got blisters on her feet from whatever standing so long. It was awesome. I'm like, this is the era of life we are in. Like, we need these things.
Yes. I love that so much.
Yeah, she was prepped. I was not. But it's like, the good thing on the Tums, like we're eating Thai food before we go out. Who knows what'll happen to us? But we just kept it easy with noodle bowls, so we didn't get too crazy. And then other peak, the Blue Jays in the freaking World Series. I can't believe you didn't mention this, sister. This is awesome. Go Jays, go. I'm pumped, but I'm a nervous wreck watching every single game, so I FaceTime Mom and Stacey, and then I have a bath, and I distract myself, and then I watch. That's the whole. Watching a game with me is a nightmare, but I've been deep into it. Loving it. Okay. One more peak is that I have made it. So I'm doing the 1,000-kilometer challenge for 2025. As you guys know, I talked about this in the new year, and I've reached 810 kilometers. I am back on track. I can just actually do my regular amount of kilometers every day, and I will finish on time. But I will I'll haul ass and I'll do extra kilometers on the weekend. So I might finish early, or when it's really cold and crappy, I don't be stressing that I need to get kilometers in.
Nice work, sis.
Thank you. I've really been giving her, but I've been really loving having downtime to myself and just actually going out. Like this weekend, I walked to the end of the lake. It's 12 kilometers, like 6 out, 6 back. I was on the phone with Kelly, walked out there, came back in no rush. Like it was like I didn't have anything else to do. It was a beautiful day and I could just really enjoy it being outside. That's my happy place for sure. But anyways, and then plans. Well, Friday's Halloween, as I mentioned on one of our episodes, is that Halloween at the beach is a big deal. So Friday is going to be a big deal. Oh, well, you guys will hear this after, but it's going to be huge and prepared with 250 chalk bars.
I don't know if that's enough.
I ran out at 200 last year, so I think 50 extra. And then I got to get some shooter mix because I also hand out shots for the adults. So, and it's a Friday night, so I think people are going to want to party at the beach. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm closing my doors at 8:30. I'm not a bar. I'm not going to be open late. Okay, so then I'm actually going to be going to the farm on Saturday. So this is a thing. I was thinking, oh man, I should go out there and dig up the rest of the potatoes and the carrots because I'm out of them. And I know I left a lot and beets. There's some still in the ground. I thought I should go out there and get them. And I was like, we'll see how I feel. But then Mark and I were texting a little bit. He was wondering when I was going to be out there doing hair because I still have one day. And he was saying like, oh, I was gonna ask you if you could help me move some equipment back home from out in the field. So I said, yes, absolutely. I will be there this weekend. So I'm gonna go out and help Mark move some equipment, dig up some vegetables. I'm excited. I haven't seen Mark in a month. Yeah, that'll be just nice. I think that'll be nice for me. So anyway, and then I have my women's group on Monday. So I've got some things going on. Nothing too, and then like when Sunday and Monday, because Sunday and Monday day, I'm just gonna like chill out at home. I've been peeling garlic like a madwoman because I make homemade garlic powder. And people out here are fiends for the garlic powder. So I'm just like trying to peel as much garlic as possible. And I've already got a big pail of garlic dehydrated. So it's coming along.
You know, I forgot. We have one other plan that both of us will get into this week that I forgot to mention. We have to watch Love is Blind reunion.
The reunion. I can't even wait. It's on tonight. This season of Love is Blind, I can't even. It pissed me off. But we'll talk about this on a whole episode. Maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll get deep into it because I know that there's other Love is Blind watchers out there. So we need to hash it out. I think that's going to do it for us. If you guys love this episode, please share it with all your friends. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and being a part of Sister Social Call. Anyhow, you can find Sister Social Call on Instagram. You can find myself, Krista, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can find Stacey on LinkedIn and Facebook. And I think that is going to wrap it up.
Thanks, everybody. Love you, sissy.
Love you too, sis.